Hello everyone, Catweazle here, welcome to the channel and welcome back to our play-by video of Eldritch Horror and Cities in Ruin. Well, we're just about to start turn 12 and hopefully this will be the last turn. I'm not aware of any major errors from last turn, or I certainly can't remember them. One thing that I did get wrong was saying we couldn't use dynamite on the epic monster. Apparently you can. Even though the epic monster is physically resistant, it's not physically resistant to dynamite for some bizarre reason. I haven't really looked into it, but if you have a look in the comments, it is explained there why it is allowed. So there you go. And people say Eldritch Horror hasn't got complicated rules like Arkham Horror. Well, I'm not so sure about that. The longer the game goes on, the more complicated it gets, and the more time it takes to set up and take down, in my experience. But there you go. Other people's experiences may differ. Okay, so that is it for the intro part. So let's find out what's happened previously on Cities in Ruin. Passing through Shanghai was heart-wrenching. The city was in ruin, and the flooded streets ran red with blood, and they were jammed up with the bloated bodies of those who had failed to get away from the devastation. Pete could see the shimmering otherworldly gate and sense the monsters in the city, but reminded himself not to be distracted. More cities would fall if he did not get to Egypt. He hoped that others like him had figured this out, and that he might have allies when he arrived. He dreamed of Vincent Lee being there, which was a good sign. He and Duke rested on the journey as much as possible. During the trip they were approached by some cult promising great power in exchange for dark pacts and debts. Pete passed on this. He had all he needed to succeed. At least he hoped he did. This could be the time he finally met his end. He had been fighting the occult horrors for so long now. Shudmel was the worst that he had encountered, and this was it. He would succeed against the World Renderer, or die trying. Gripping the fetch stick tightly, he felt its arcane power. He had to succeed. The entire world was counting on him. Yes, Pete? No pressure. We're all counting on you, mate, and your fetch stick. 'Cause we need you, mate. So he's going to get across to the pyramids. That's the plan. He's doing pretty well on health and sanity, but a bit more will be welcome. Hence Pete's narrative there. He will be resting. So he's going to use all of his gear here, and we are going to try and kill this World Renderer. Hopefully he'll be able to do it. So that's it for Pete. Next up is Vincent Lee. Vincent saw that Carolyn had taken a blow to the head. He stitched the wound and put a fresh dressing on it. All the clues were now in place. He knew the two beasts that lay dead on the floor were mere servants of what was still to come. Vincent took the strange elixir from his coat and drank another mouthful. It felt different this time. He could see the pyramid of the Sphinx and another worm-like creature, but this one was much larger than the others. The pyramid of the Sphinx. Vincent had to journey there once more. He knew a great danger lay waiting there, but also he knew that it was the key to stopping Shudmel and returning the world to order. So here we are with Vincent, the other pincer in our attack. So he's doing pretty well. So obviously he's been knocking around with Carolyn Fern. He's got his own special ability, so he's got quite a bit of health and he's got quite a bit of sanity. He's also got a couple of clues and a focus, which will hopefully come in very handy, along with the sword of Yahatala. He's got all of his talents. He's got an arcane tome, which is alright. A couple of tasks, which really we don't need to bother with. But he's got the Mask of the Watcher, which is important. That can reduce the horror of a monster down by 1, so we'll probably be using that, and he will probably be using his Tikkun elixir because he lost his blessing last turn. Hopefully we'll be able to get that back. Okay, so that is Vincent. Next up is Carolyn Fern. Carolyn had returned to Cape Town with her group. She felt that she needed something to help with the darkness that was spreading throughout the world, now that they had lost St. Smythe, an obvious servant of this evil. She reported him to the local authorities, giving a description, and she told them that he was very dangerous. While shopping, she came upon a warehouse where the night watchman was looking to make some extra money on the side and offered Carolyn a look at a missing crate. She paid the man and was directed to an alley where she found this missing crate. Inside were a few sticks of dynamite. She let the security team handle the explosives. She turned to Laura. "Didn't you say there was a shop of curiosities around here?" Laura said that there was, and she started to lead Carolyn there. So here we are with Carolyn. So security squad, personal assistant, the Otherworld Codex, which reminds me, one of the things we had to do was turn this over, so it was one thing I did forget, and we're going to Tunguska next. Should we not finish it off? Well, in fact, actually, even if we finish it off, I think it's the end of the Mythos phase, so we'll probably get that gate anyway. Okay, yes, Otherworld Codex, she's got a dream diary, and she has the Death Tarot card, as well as the dynamite and the Winchester rifle. We might have to use that at some point. As I say, the dynamite, for some reason, does affect physically resistant monsters. So, should things not go well this turn, we may have to use that next turn. But, yes, that's it for Carolyn. Next up is Rita Young. Rita awoke in her hotel outside Shanghai, feeling like she had gone 10 rounds with Jack Dempsey. She had gotten the better of the Ghoul, exceeding its savagery with her own, and caving in its skull with a block of masonry. The exertion of the fight and journey through the flooded ruins back to her hotel all but wiped her out, and she collapsed onto her bed, fully clothed, into the deepest slumber that she had ever known. She had dreamt of being a beauteous but deadly warrior maiden, clad in a golden cuirass, with matching vambraces and greaves. Images of the fierce Grecian Amazon warriors inspired her and came into her mind. In her dream, she had to protect a dark, enigmatic stranger from harm as they travelled through a city unknown in the real world. She had been astounded by her fighting prowess, defeating dozens of foes and performing feats of strength she could only dream of. The stranger boarded a dark galleon and beckoned for her to join him and share in his lore. But then she awoke in her bed, feeling every bit like she had performed these heroic feats. Despite her aches, the day seemed lighter, and she sensed a glimmer of hope in the air. It was time to leave Shanghai, but she dare not travel back to the States. She felt certain that a malignant enemy meant her harm, and they would be waiting for her to return. She made her farewells to her fellow athletes and boarded a train bound for Delhi. Maybe she could find some answers there. So here we are with Rita. 5 health, 5 sanity, she's doing fine. She's rugged and she does have the martial prowess talent. So she is ready to go. Again, she's heading towards the pyramids just in case things go wrong. Well, that is it for previously on Cities in Ruin. Next up is the action phase. And here we are at the action phase with Ashcan. First of all, Ashcan is going to rest, so that will get him 2 health and 2 sanity back because of his medical journal and King James's Bible and Duke and what have you. So he's up to 5 sanity, which is his maximum, and he is up to 6 health. So that is good, good, good. What is he going to do for his second action? Well, he's going to do his component action off his sheet, and he is going to get a free move along a train track to Istanbul. Then he gets another action, and he's going to perform a travel action, and he is going to go to the pyramids. So he's turned up there, with the world render. Dun, dun, dun. That is it for Ashcan Pete. Next up is Vincent Lee. And here we are with Vincent Lee. For his first action, yes, we're going to try and get a boon condition back. So he's going to test the old Tikkun elixir. Put that there. So we have to roll his will, and that is 5, but he's not blessed anymore. And we need a success. Then he can spend a sanity. He gets 2 successes, so he will spend that sanity and go down to 5. And he's going to get himself a boon condition. So let's get the boon deck, and we could do with being blessed actually. I mean, righteous is okay, but we could do with being blessed. As mentioned, he's already composed, so he can't get that again. And studious, no. Attuned, no. Elusive, no. Relentless, no. Blessed. So he is blessed, which will be great news. We've seen this a million times before, but on 4, 5s or 6s, that will be a success. If we would gain another blessed condition, we'd flip the card, and if we gain a curse condition, we can just discard this card instead. On a reckoning, we roll a die and discard it on a 1 or a 2, just like we did last turn, but hopefully it will all be over by then. So he is blessed. Right, for his second action, what he's going to do is he is going to travel, and yes, he is going to join Ashcan Pete at the pyramids. They've got this boy to sort out. So that is it for, oh, better put this back on his player tray. That is it for Vincent. Next up is Carolyn Fern. And here we are with Carolyn Fern. What's she going to do for her first action? Well, she's going to try and acquire assets. So we shall need this. And her influence is 3, but she gets +1 for the personal assistant, which will be 4 dice, and she will also get a reroll. And she got 1 success, and we will reroll one of these dice and see if she can get another one. Come on. No, she gets a 1. That's rubbish. Oh, and unfortunately we can't do what we wanted to do. We wanted at least 2 successes, because then we could have took a bank loan, and with the bank loan we could have got the curiosity shop, which would have allowed us to get that rather funky artifact we talked about last turn. But unfortunately we've only got 1 success, and it's not really worth getting a bank loan and a debt condition, because all we'd be able to buy is the sledgehammer and the alchemical concoction. She's got a Winchester. We don't need the sledgehammer. So all we're going to do is use 1 success to get the alchemical concoction, because this is still pretty good. It's magical, so it will work against the world render, though pretty much anything seems to work against the world render, even though he's physically resistant. You may discard this card to gain +5 during a combat encounter. So if we have to like use Rita and Carolyn to go and finish this guy off, then this will come in useful. So she's got the alchemical concoction. We need to draw a replacement. So we'll get the asset deck. Give it a quick shuffle and a cut. And we get, ooh, a treasure hunter with a cost of 4. An ally. Gain +1 observation, +1 strength. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving an observation or a strength test. That's a very good card. So, if you spend 4, you can get Lara Croft by the look of it. So we'll put her down there with the Willful Aristocrat, the Sledgehammer and the Curiosity Shop. So that's her first action. She's acquired assets. What's she going to do for her second action? She's going to move to the heart of Africa. So she's basically making her way up towards the pyramids, should she be required in a later turn. Hopefully she won't, but she's already in the heart of Africa. So that is it for Carolyn. Next up is Rita Young, so let's get across to Shanghai. And here we are with Rita. The first thing she's going to do is she's going to rest. So she's going to get herself a health and a sanity back. That'll put her on 6 health and 6 sanity. In fact, no it won't. It'll put her on 6 health and she will remain at 5 sanity. She's obviously, sanity max is 5. So all she gets back is 1 health. What's she going to do for her second action? Well, for her second action, she is going to travel along this train track to Space 17 in India. Again, she is getting closer to the pyramids, should she be required. That is it for the action phase. Next up is the encounter phase. And here we are at the encounter phase, and it's a big encounter phase, and it's Ashcan Pete to go first, and he's going to take on the World Render. Hopefully he will be able to defeat it. So what we got here, first of all, he's got a will test at -1. His will is pretty good. His will is at 3, so that's not too bad. He does have 2 focus, and he does have a clue, and he is blessed. So he's going to be rolling 2 dice. So let's go for it. Come on, Pete. And Pete gets a 4, which is a success. So that's a good start. So he does lose 2 sanity. So we will lose 2 sanity. We're not too bothered. That'll put him down to 3 sanity. I think that's enough. And what else have we got to do? We've got to do the actual combat. So, but the combat is -3. And we've got to get at least 4 successes. But we want 4 successes anyway, because that'll kill it. So, he's got his fetch stick and he is practiced. So, that will give him +6. An additional die because he's practiced, which is 7. And oh, actually, he'll just re-roll that other die because he's got Moxie. A 1, so it didn't matter anyway. So he used his re-roll for Moxie, it didn't help. And we'll save Duke and his other re-rolls for this actual combat. So he's currently got 7 dice. And his 3 strength is 10. So is it -3? So he's going to be rolling 7 dice. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's got a couple of re-rolls and he has 2 focus and a clue. Let's be having it. We have got 3 successes straight off, so he doesn't lose any health. So let's take them out. And of course we're going to do our re-rolls. So the first thing we're going to use for a re-roll is practiced. Come on. And there we go, a 5. That's all we needed. We got all the successes. It wasn't in much doubt once he's got the fetch stick, and once he's got like a ton of re-rolls, it was pretty much in the bag. So we have defeated the World Render. So I'll put him over here onto the mystery, and I think we have to wait till the end of the Mythos phase. Yes, we do. So we'll just leave him over there, because you never know, something nasty might happen. Sometimes you get cards that say like put some mysteries back in play. Not often, but hopefully we'll get away with it. Right, so he's defeated that, and having defeated the monster, that means he can carry on having an encounter. So he's going to have a generic wilderness encounter because he's at the pyramids. So we get the generic deck. Wilderness. An unwary traveller was buried under a rock slide. You try and move the stones. Test strength. Well, his strength is 3. So 3 dice. Blessed. And he gets 3 successes. Because he's on fire. If I can pick up the cards. Right. If you pass, you find that though he did not survive, his possessions did gain an artifact. Well, the artifact will gain we may as well gain this. The mystery is still active, so we can actually still gain this. So, item, magical tome, the Vach Viraj Chant. Gain +5 combat during combat encounters. Reduce the horror and damage of monsters you encounter by 1 to a minimum of 1. So as you can see, it was quite a good tome, this. So we'll give that to Ashcan Pete. What probably happened was the guy who was buried under the rock slide, he'd probably gone to fight the World Render himself with that artifact, but the World Render had, like, you know, started some sort of earthquake and buried the poor unfortunate. And now Pete, having killed the World Render, has found that artifact. So, quite thematic, I think. So, well done, Pete. That is it for his encounter phase. So, we may as well keep everything here. Everybody's, like, in shot. So, who is going to go next? It is Vincent Lee. So, right, Vincent, what's the plan? Well, he's just going to have... Shall we have a research encounter? I'll just... Oh no, I think we've gone for a generic wilderness encounter. We have... If I was playing on my own, I'd have probably gone for the research encounter just to change it up a bit. But Vincent's player, Lawrence, specified a generic wilderness encounter, so that's what we'll do. Wilderness. A family of cannibals traps you in their ramshackle hut. Test strength. I think his strength is pretty good. His strength is 3 now, and he does have a couple of clues, and he has a... What is it? He has a couple of clues, and he has a focus token. It's just a general strength. So 3 blessed dice. And he gets a success, that's all he needed. If you pass, you break free and leave with an item that belonged to one of their previous victims. Gain 1 random magical asset from the deck. And there's the fail. Right, 1 random magical asset from the deck. We'll pick the deck up. And quick shuffle, as always. And cut. And we'll stop when we get something magical. Forbidden Text is not magical. Sanctuary is not magical. Genealogy Research is not magical. The Ritual Dagger is magical. So, item, magical weapon. Once per round you may gain +1 law when resolving a spell effect, or +2 combat when resolving a combat encounter. We will put that onto Vincent's player tray. Brilliant. So, I think that's get rid of these. So, just check it was, yes, just a magical asset, so a magical item does count. That is it for Vincent. So, next up we have Carolyn Fern. So, what is Carolyn going to do? I think it's going to be another wilderness encounter, isn't it? Pretty much, yes. So, let's get the deck out that I've just put away. And we'll have another shuffle and another cut. Wilderness. You are terrified to see a night gaunt descend from the night sky. Test will. What is her will? Her will is 5. Woo! And she's got a focus. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just, yeah, normal check. No penalties or bonuses. She gets 2 successes. Let's have a look. If you pass, you stay calm and it delivers a gift from Nodens. Gain 1 random magical asset from the deck. Again. And there's the fail. So, right. Pick that up. And I think Rita will probably be using this deck as well. So I'll just put it to one side rather than putting it back into the card holder. Let's get another magical thing from the deck. Actually, I better check. Was it just a magical asset again? So, very similar. There we go. And Search the archives, service. Tome of Secrets is not magical. An enchanted blade, that is magical. Cost of 3, item weapon magical, gain +1 will and +3 strength during combat encounters. So we'll give that to Carolyn Fern. We're getting all the stuff now, aren't we? Let me put this back. I should probably keep it out because we'll probably end up getting another magical asset. Right, that is... Oh, got to put those back as well. Whoop. Okay, so that is it for Carolyn Fern. Next up is Rita Young. One thing I did forget about Rita was she did actually get an extra health back. So she's back to full health on 7 health because she was rugged. So the last Mythos phase, she could have, once per round, if you would lose 2 or more health, prevent 1 of that health loss. So she would have done that. Then we've got to flip this card, so let's see what was on the other side. You nod with satisfaction, you have come face to face with darkness and stood your ground, recover 1 sanity. Well, she was at full sanity anyway, so doesn't matter. But she did get an extra health back, so she's at 7 health presently. Let's find out what her generic city encounter is going to be. Done an awful lot of generic encounters this particular game. City. You dream of Nomqua, an abhorrent creature living beneath the moon's surface. You sense that it wants to make an exchange, and it entices you with a mysterious rarity in exchange for its freedom. You may advance the omen by 1 to gain the Moon 18 unique asset. Well, if we do that, we're going to get omen movement. We don't want 2 omen movements because we do have, I mean, that'd give us a disaster. So let's try and avoid that, and we've pretty much won the game, so she'll just ignore that. Okay, so that is it for the encounter phase. All we have to do now is hold on during the Mythos phase. As long as we don't get some real nasty card, we should be okay. Righto, see you at the Laugh and Chuckle phase. And here we are at the Laugh and Chuckle phase. This is it. Let's see what we get. And we get... Oh, technical card. The end is nigh. So we've got Omen track movements. So we go onto a blue constellation. That means we moved the Doom track 1 because of Tokyo. So we go down to 9. That's that. Then it's reckoning time. So we'll need this. Keep the 5 and the 6. Okay, let's see if the game has got any final kicks in the pants for us. Right, so first up it is monsters. Well, we got rid of the world render, that's good. We've still got the Ghoul, and the nearest person I think is still Carolyn. So he's going to move to space 11, but he's still out of range, that's okay. After, there's no other monsters, is there, with the reckoning? Nope, that's okay. Then we're on Should. So we've got to lose 2 of either health, sanity, or a combination of the 2. And Pete is going to lose 2 health. And he's got loads left. And I think it'll be 1 of each for Vincent. He's still got plenty left. And it'll be 2 sanity for Carolyn, but she's got plenty left. And it'll be 2 health for Rita, and she's got plenty left. We've got plenty left, we should be fine. So we've done the ancient one, Mythos cards, we've got none in play, that's cool. And now it is possessions and conditions. So we will start with Pete. Pete has just got his blessed condition. So that's okay. I tell you, it goes a lot quicker, the reckonings, if nobody has spells. It takes ages if you've got loads of spells. But right, blessed. So he's got to roll 1 dice. See if he keeps it or not. A 6. Of course he keeps it. He's kept it all game. And he can get that back. That's great. Who's next? It is Vincent. And all he has is a blessed condition. So same for him. He's not been as good at keeping them as Pete has. But he keeps it this time. He gets a 5. So that's good. So he keeps this. Oh, I don't think it makes much difference as it stands at the moment. Next is Carolyn. She has nothing with a reckoning on, and Rita has nothing with a reckoning on. So that is all the possessions and conditions sorted out. Excellent. That is the end of the reckoning. So we have got to spawn a gate, and we know where it's going. It's going to Tunguska. So we may as well put it out on the board. There we go. And it will get a monster. So let's get a monster. And we get a Mygo. So there we go. And that's got a reckoning on it. But the reckoning has gone past. So we don't have to do it this turn, which will hopefully be the last turn. So Mygos, they're quite tough. But hopefully we won't have to deal with it. So we'll put him up there. That is it for the gates. So all we've got to do now is hope nothing nasty happens in the text. You've pushed everything to the breaking point. Your mind, body, relationships and possessions have all been worn thin by the demands of your quest. But you cannot relent. Not on the brink of disaster. We're on the brink of a win. The end is nigh. Event. Each investigator discards 1 item possession, 1 ally asset, 1 task asset, 1 spell, 1 clue, 1 focus and 1 improvement token. Then each investigator loses 1 health and 1 sanity. Blimey! What a horrible card. I'm glad we got it now. I think we'll be alright. So we'll start with Pete. So he gets rid of 1 item possession. What's he going to get rid of? He's got loads of items. I think he'll get rid of the old journal. No, he'll get rid of the Mystic Scroll. So he's got rid of that. We'll discard that for a ally. Oh, he's got to get rid of an ally. Oh no! He's only got 1 left. No, not Duke. Oh, he's kicked us in the pants at the end. What a horrible thing to do, Duke. We've got to discard him. Oh, oh God. Is Duke gone? Oh, awful. Oh, you horrible game. Ugh. A task asset we've got to get rid of. We've got 1. Well, we haven't got 1. A spell, haven't got 1. A clue we do have. Discard a clue. That's gone. A focus, yeah. Discard 1 of those. An improvement token. Yes, he had observation. That's gone. And then 1 health and 1 sanity. So that puts him down to 3 health and 2 sanity. But that doesn't matter because he's Duke. That's what he's bothered about. What a crappy, crappy card. What a thing to do in the last turn. Vincent. Item possession. What's he going to get rid of? He will get rid of the ritual dagger he just got, I think. So, gets rid of that ritual dagger. Ally asset. He hasn't got any allies. So, can't lose any of those. Task asset, he'll get rid of the courier run. So, courier run's gone. 1 spell, he hasn't got a spell. Clue, he's got a clue, he gets rid of one of those, leaving him with 1. A focus, he's got a focus, so he's got no focus left. Oh, I'm glad we didn't get this at the beginning. Any improvement tokens, he's got 2. He will get rid of... He'd have got rid of his strength 1 because he wants his will to be high for that Tikkun elixir with 1, but that's the one he'd pick, the strength 1. And then 1 health and 1 sanity, that leaves him at 3 sanity and 2 health. But he'd have been able to recover most of that, so that's not too bad. Oh, bloody Duke. Right, Caroline, 1 item possession. She will get rid of the enchanted blade. Why not? We'll just pick that. Doesn't really matter. What else is she getting rid of? An ally asset. She'll get rid of the security squad. They've gone. She's dismissed them. Task asset. Does she have a task asset? No, she doesn't. A spell? No. She hasn't got any clues. She does have a focus. That's got to go. Has she got any improvement tokens? No, she... Oh, yes, she has. So her will improvement goes. Oh, rubbish card. I'm glad I got... Oh, this was definitely one to get at the end. Health and a sanity, so she's down to 3 health and 2 sanity. I can't get over how bad this would have been earlier on. This would have been a real horrible card earlier on. Right, that's it for Caroline. And Rita, well, she's got none of this stuff, fortunately, apart from the health and sanity. So she'll lose a health and sanity. She goes down to 4 health and 4 sanity, which is okay. And Duke, poor Duke. So we had to get rid of Duke. That is pants. But that's the end of this crappy card. And it didn't do us in. It did Duke in, but it didn't do us in. So we've got to the end of the Mythos phase. That means we're going to have a look at the mystery. So there we go. The end of the Mythos phase. If the World Render Epic monster has been defeated, solve this mystery. We've solved this mystery. It's been defeated. And yes, we have won the game, people. But not without the game kicking us in the pants on the way out. Where we lost Duke. Poor old Pete. Kills the World Render and then Duke. Duke's gone. But at least we beat the game. So there we are. So take that, Eldritch. And your crappy little, like, we'll get Duke at the end. We still won. Oh, one other thing to do, we solved a mystery. So that means Doom goes back to 10 because of Caroline's tarot card artifact. There we go, we won. We only lost 2 investigators and Duke, I suppose. Yeah, poor old Bob and Lily, but at least that loss wasn't in vain. We did manage to win the game. This is a tough guy. Now, we've done pretty well, and looks like we've breezed it. But this is a real tough ancient one. I won't put it down all to luck. I don't think I rolled that well. It was the fact that we were blessed for a lot of it. Pete finding the fetch stick, then getting blessed. That's what brought us through this game, I think. Swiftly followed by Vincent finding that Tikkun elixir, which is very strong. No wonder it's an artifact. So those two have essentially got us through it. It helped that Vincent was a doctor, so we were able to get some health back. And Caroline coming in, of course, helped with sanity. But Pete was a beast. It was Pete. As soon as Bob handed over the medical journal and the King James's Bible, along with poor old Duke, just needed to rest each turn when he could rest. That's why it was such a bad card when we got that card, which meant we couldn't rest. But when he could rest, he was just getting all his health and sanity back. And that's why we've absolutely munched on this. It's got nothing to do with the rolling or anything like that. It's just the fact that Pete got some great stuff. He just ended up, we traded well, we got him boosted to the max, and he just went round and killed everything. So he was absolutely like amazing in this game, was Pete. So well done, Doug. Unfortunate about Duke right at the end, but the game's got to have the last laugh on it, the bloody thing. But yeah, we have won. So quite a game. So anybody who wants a tough game of Eldritch Horror, I would definitely recommend Shude Mel. He is tough. We just had Pete, who was amazing, and he was just able to go even with Pete and Vincent as, you know, a really good backup. Shude Mel was still causing us problems, and he was still causing us problems right to the end. If he'd got onto any of these disasters, then it's just, I think, excuse me for my voice, I've got a bit of a cold, so I might be coming in. I've been talking now for an hour, so it's beginning to give up on me. But yeah, as soon as you start getting into these disasters, they're tough. I mean, we got a couple of Dooms that we could knock back. Then we got Carolyn, who could knock back Doom as well, so that helped. So we got a lot of factors in our favour. I still think we played it really well, and I think we had some great ideas from the guys and from you guys as well. Despite my best efforts to make it even harder, I think 75% of my errors were actually against the investigators in this game rather than the other way around. But we managed to struggle through in the end. Sorry, for those of you that are sick to death of me wittering on, you're going to get your wish, because, as I say, my voice is giving out. So, that is it for Eldritch Horror and Cities in Ruin, where we have defeated Shude Mel. So, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the views, thanks for all the likes, thanks for all the dislikes, thanks for all the subscriptions. Thank you very much. Thanks also to everybody who's been across to Board Game Links to watch the videos over there, and anybody who's gone to BGG to thumb up the video threads there or make a comment. Anybody who's made a comment here, thank you as well. And thank you to anybody who went across the tube tables and joined in there. It's been great. Thanks for all the help and support as ever. And again, if you've noticed me make an error during this particular final turn, please let me know. Not much I can do about it because I'm going to pack it away now, but at least people watching in the future will be made aware of it. So if you do spot something, please let me know. Yes, what are we going to do next? Next is going to be Gloom of Kilforth by Tristan Hall, Hall or Nothing Productions. So I'm looking forward to that. It's a card game, and it's very role play, which I like. So it's been my first time playing it though. I've had it months, but this will be the first chance I've had a chance to get it to the table. So I'm looking forward to playing that. So hopefully Tristan and Giles and a few others who are very good at the game, and they play it a lot, hopefully they'll be able to give me some tips and point out where I'm going wrong, which doubtless will happen a lot of the time. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope my voice has improved by then. But until then, this is me, Catweazle, signing off. Toodaloo.